right? I am going to repeat something earlier I said, because, right, especially I am throwing this challenge to the Dr. Nandala, right? I am saying your economics are fundamentally flawed. Okay? You can't have economic growth forever, right? So if some economists think that you can grow economic forever, something wrong. So that means the IMF economics, World Bank economics, ADB economics, they are all fundamentally flawed. So when you go for steady state economics, you change the nature of the economy. It looks like just a statement. It's not that way, right? It's much more than that. Now, I am saying Sri Lanka is not bankrupt. We have about $40 billion. One of the methods you use is under invoicing or invoice. I have mentioned that. Dr. Nandalal has no answer. He didn't give a reply, right? He just is ostrich in Tarzan or something. he right? So, other thing is per capita income is not an economic measurement. It doesn't have environment cost, social cost, cultural cost. So when you go beyond a certain level, per capita income is a bookkeeping measurement. Right? This also I have told economists many times, but they don't understand that. Why they don't understand it? Because we don't have universities in Sri Lanka. We bring syllabi from other countries and we teach that. Okay, that's 500 years of extended colonization. Okay, so this, I have said this many times, they don't accept. Then I have mentioned about under-invoicing, over-invoicing. Now there's somebody called Dr. Vijaydas Rajapaksa. He came from the village, Gamen Apu Kolle. Kolla නෙමෙයි now is. එයා වයසයි නෝ. එතුමා මේ under invoicing over invoicing කළාම ඔය කොළඹ ඉස්කෝලේ ඉගෙන ගත්ත ආර්ථික විද්‍යාඥයෙක් කියන මිනිහෙක් ඇවිල්ලා ඒ මිනිහව පාච්චා කරා. එහෙම පාච්චා කරන්න බෑ. හරි? උඹ කොළඹ ඉගෙන ගත්තා නම් ඒක උඹේ ඉස්කෝලේට තියාගන්න. අපිට ඔය පාච්චාල් දාන්න එන්න එපා. තෙන්න කාලකන්ණිය වගේ හැසිරෙන්න එපා මෙතන ඇවිල්ලා. තේරෙනවද උඹලට කියන්නේ? ඔය උඹලා ඉකොනොමික්ස් එකේ හිතගෙන උඹලා දන්න ඉකොනොමික් බම්බුකුත් නැහැ. හරිද? හරිද? හැමදාම අතිය වදින කරන්න බෑ. ඒතකොට මම දැක්කා මේ මිනිස්සයා කියනවා මේ ඇමරිකාව කියන්නේ හොඳ රටක්. ඇමරිකාව කියන්නේ country which is committing genocide. එච්චරයි. genocide part of the economy. ඒතකොට මේ මිනිස්සයා ඇයි මෙහෙම කතා කරන්නේ? ඒ මිනිස්සයාට US aid සල්ලා තින්නේ. United States, හරි? United States affected immune deficiency syndrome. Then අපේ රටේ ගොඩක් මිනිස්සුන්ට US aid සල්ලා දෙනවා. මේ මිනිස්සු පිළිගන්න එපා. එතකොට මේ මිනිස්සයාගේ රජයේ ඉන්නකොට තමයි යමයාගේ රජයේ ඉන්නකොට තමයි we took $12 billion of sovereign Jinjin bondage. I call them sovereign Jinjin because they are actually bondage. And out of that we bought roughly about $7 billion of vehicles, right? So that is, they want to bankrupt this country. Why they want to take us they want to make us slaves of the American hegemonyism. Okay? We have the best finance minister, Dr. N.M. Perra. He managed he had the dual currency system where he managed certain transactions when he came to. It was difficult, but he didn't make us take us into a lot of loans. So actually our economies were destroyed. Our economy was destroyed by Mr. Jayajayawardena. He is the man who took us to this loan territory. But when he did the loans, it was interest rates were low. Sometimes we had you didn't have to pay immediately. There are certain concessions given to us. So we went to the sovereign Jinjin bondage. Right? I call them bondage. They are not sovereign bonds, they are bondage. Under Mahinda Rajapaksa. But he took only about $4 billion and he did certain projects. even doing those projects are not sustainable, because if you can't pay the loan and the interest, however the project may be, if you can't pay the loan and the interest, then you're in trouble. But if you take the Jamayage Raja, under Jamayage Raja, about 12 billion sovereign jinking bondages were taken, and out of that, $7 billion were spent to buy vehicles, roughly. Right? These are rough values. So that is how you win really bankruptcy. And people who are in that government are trying to teach us economics. They don't understand economics. I mean, if you are a real economy, you would have never done that. If you had some love. So that means they work for the American empire, right? American hegemonstrism. That's what these economics are doing. And they are trying to still protect it. Right? Now, I am told by certain academics, if you take this dual citizenship, they sell their land and here and they transfer the dollars without going through the banking system. So actually, there has to be some way to control this. So that means your individual freedom will be gone. But if you are transferring money by using this illegal means, either you have to open up the capital account. If you open a capital account, then that dollar will go to about 600, 700 rupees. But otherwise, you have to impose this law, impose these and laws, so that if you transfer that, you have to. They have not. Nobody has done any transferring of dollars illegally. Nobody has been prosecuted. So we will have this problem forever. Okay. So this, I am saying that just because you studied in Columbus School, you can't humiliate people who came from the villages. That's not something you can do. Now, Mike, I have this question, especially after retired. How did the British rule India? That's through their schools, and later on, but because of their universities, and they try to give you some kind of superiority complex, right? So I mentioned something about under-invoicing oil, and if you take these dual citizens, they transfer the money by illegal means. They don't go through the real channel. So there has to be some way to handle this, and it to be you will be using your individual freedom. So the British rule the country by their education system. There is no other way. So that is why we say that for these people, මේ ගංගොලින් ආපු මිනිසුන්ට කියනවා ඔය කොළඹින් ඇවිල්ලා ඇමරිකාවට කඩේ යනුම් ටිකක් ඉන්නවා. උන් ඇවිල්ලා අර බොරුවට නිකන් මේක පෙන්නලා ඒව හරියන්නේ නැහැ. හරිද? ඒ මිනිස්සු ඇමරිකා මේ කොළඹින් ආපු ඔය ඉකොනොමිස්ලා සමහර ඉකොනොමිස්ලා හැමෝම නෙමෙයි. අර ගංගොලින් ආපු මිනිසුන්ව පාච්චා කරලා මේ මිනිසුන්ව පාලනය කරනවා. ඒක තමයි මේ කරන්නේ මෙතන. මේක යට තියෙන එක. හරි? ඒ මිනිස්සු ඉන්නකොට තමයි මේ රට විනාශ කරන්නේ. මොකද ඒ සමහර මේ ඔය මිනිස්සු. ඒතකොට ඒ ජයජාදන මාත්‍යයන් කාලේ ඉඳන් තමයි මේ ණය ගන්න එක පටන් ගන්නේ. නමුත් එතුමාගේ කාලේ අපි වැඩි පොලියට ණය ගත්තේ නැහැ. ඒතකොට මේක මෙතන තියෙන්නේ මේ ඕනකමින් බංකොලොත් කරපු එකක් තියෙන්නේ. ඒකට හේතුව ඒ කියන්නේ බ්‍රිතාන්‍ය කොහොමද ඉන්දියාව පාලනය කරේ? ඒ පාලනය කරේ ඉස්කෝලවල. ඒ වයින් ගන්න තමයි පාලනය. But right now people don't understand these fiat currencies. They don't understand it. But if you take a illiterate from India, they understand the value of gold and silver. If you tell this to our economic, they don't understand this. Because when you go to university, when they give you a syllabus or syllabi, that means it's a form of colonization. Because we don't have university. We bring our syllabi from America, or earlier it was Britain. So actually going to university is negative in a certain way. Of course you can get a good job or whatever you call that, you get that. But you are being some of your knowledge is taken away, and you have been conditioned for exploitation, and you also be a part of the exploiting thing. So you have to go back to your roots, right? I am not saying not to study, not to get what you learn from Western countries, but I think I am saying you have to go beyond that, right? And if you take in the Western knowledge system, there is only one sciences, that is physics. It's based on physics, and you have mathematics. Of course, you have, I have mentioned this earlier, you have something called complexity. It's not one of those paradigms. So I have challenged the economics in this country. Nobody has taken up my challenge. Especially I challenge Dr. Nandalal, and I challenge a person who studied in a Columbus Evans school, and he has been, in a way, he has been obnoxious because his economics are wrong. Okay? Right? And he has humiliated certain people. Right? Because that's how the British did. The British used their school system and the university system to put down the other people. Otherwise, how the hell did British rule India? You tell me. I mean, they had only about 100,000 troops there. So how did they rule? That's the school system they use. Okay. So then you have this things like Orientalism and Said, and I mean, that's a different topic. So I am saying that we don't have economic problem. Right? We have colonized minds, and they will never accept what I say. They will always accept the white man says. That's a part of inferiority complex.